Never have an excuse when you gym all day. Even when I take time off, I'm working. The whole point of every camp is just to get better at everything. I made Kansas City my gym. I need a bunch of people around me to work hard. I train hard, but not one guy. And D1 wrestling gonna make me stay on my feet. Once you get to a certain level, it's all mental.
Bang! What up, world? Welcome to another segment of 25A coverage. I'm your host, Mac Mo Green. You know what time it is. Time for a new trial, new era, new test. We got a new opponent. His name is CJ the Ground Shark Hunter. An opponent out of St. Louis, Missouri, who's got 28 amateur wins, 10 losses. They say he's a pretty tough cat, but you know what? We ain't too bad ourselves with our undefeated amateur record and our undefeated pro record as well. So we're going to take you to the HD camp, where this camp just ain't like any other camp. We got a lot going on over at HD. We got to give a shout out to LC Davis, who's making his pro debut on the Bellator card. And we also going to give a shout out to Deron Farrell Carlos, who will be making his pro debut on the BFC card, the BFC 21, the same one that we fighting on. Check it out. back. 25-8 into the beast. We back here. We sitting here live with Duran Phil Carlos. Also, we just walked in the house, man. We got my guy Andrew the Beast Tyson, the hometown favorite. What's going on, King?
Chilling, man. Just happy to be back at it, back in camp.
Yeah, man. Congratulations on that fight, man.
Thank
Like
you,
that. We like that spectacular finish.
Very happy with that,
Spectacular
yeah.
finish. How you feel? How you feeling about that?
I mean, it felt good, but obviously didn't have much time to enjoy it. You put it in the back of your mind right after the after party and start thinking about the next one. So I had a quick turnaround for the camp, and hopefully the same results happen on March 22nd. Get it over with and start thinking about the next one.
32-second knockout?
32-second knockout, man. My favorite fight thus far.
Favorite fight thus far? Pro debut?
Pro debut. Couldn't have done any better. Maybe 22 seconds or something, but I'm very happy with it. I mean, I got my hands on it. It went the way I wanted it to, so.
That's what's up. So who we got this time? March 22nd, where they were at Shrine fighting.
We got CJ, the ground shark hunter. Supposed to be a much tougher opponent. Ending with my last 4 amateur fights and then this pro debut, they've all been first round finishes. So obviously, people want to see me fight a tougher opponent. This is a guy whose strengths are a lot like mine, wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Personally, I don't believe he's better at these disciplines than me, but they gave it to me for the reason of pushing me. And it being a 3 5-minute rounds. Who knows? I might have to go all 3 or it might end the same way. I'm very confident in the way I can fight a long distance fight or a short distance, so we'll see what happens.
Now CJ's got 40 fights under
something like
his
40
belt?
amateur
40
fights, yeah.
amateur fights?
And like I said, his strength is the same strength as mine. The one thing is he does have a lot more discipline, but he's also lost fights. You know what I mean? And the problem he usually has with guys is guys who are athletic, guys who are good wrestlers, and like I said, I commend him for taking me as a pro debut. I wouldn't want to take me as a pro debut personally if I had as many losses I did, but I know he's a tough guy, and he's going to come to fight. And that's one thing that I think everybody wants to see is somebody who's going to push me a little bit. But if it's up to me, it's going 31 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to give anybody more than I need to.
So you would rather get the knockout than just to stand in there and brawl it out?
I mean, it's weird. I think it's always good to get good mat time. You know what I mean? I think it's good to get that experience. I've never gone 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's good to know. You don't want to find out that you don't have the right conditioning later on, but at the same time, to get where I want to go, you have to finish fights. I mean, this is a business that wants to see people finish fights. They want to see exciting fights, and to get where I want to go the fastest, I have to finish fights. So I'd rather find out how my conditioning is at the highest level than right now. If I can finish them in the first round, I'll do it, and I'll worry about whether or not I can go 15 minutes. At the highest level, that's what I prefer to do. So, but I do believe I got the conditioning for it, and I think my fight style is one it's going to give him a lot of trouble. So I'm just happy to get in there with a tough fighter. Anything
special you doing? I know you two are both HD teammates.
Yeah.
Right here.
Well, one thing is I can say this camp has gone a lot better for the simple fact that everybody's in the gym together. My last camp was at a weird time because it was the end of the year, or the beginning of the year, but December with the holidays, Duran had just fought, LC just fought. And so with me, I do a lot of cross-training anyway, so it was okay. But, this has been a really good camp. LC's fighting on Bellator, LC Davis making his Bellator debut March 21st. He's making his pro debut the 22nd, so the gym's been packed. Eric Grant finally signed with HD, the place he needs to be. Probably the best 55 amateur in Kansas City. Bernard Thomas, probably 1A if you want to call it in terms of amateur 55ers. He's been with us. So we've had a lot of people at the gym, and these are guys who've also competed against CJ as well. So it's been a big help, and I feel like there's a lot more pressure for me, not only just to beat CJ, but to do it impressively. A lot of people put a lot of effort into making sure I'm doing what I want to do. There's a lot of people who want to see me beat him up. You know what I mean? So it is a little personal with this one because the background of it all. So I don't want to just beat him. I want it to be impressive. I want to make a statement.
All right. Well, it's been some social media talk. I mean, do you let? Now this is it. I mean, you're pro now. So so does social media bother you more, or what I mean?
I will admit it did pull more accent into the way I approach the training, the way I approach the fight. I mean, there's gonna be. I like to take my time in fights. Anybody who's ever watched me fight knows that even with the 32-second I didn't go wild. I take my time, pick my shots. So in a position where I might throw 1 or 2 punches looking to get a better position, I might throw 3 or 4 because some things have been said. Some things have been said that you know I've never had that type of build up to a fight. Most people are usually very respectful. I've never had any type of trash talking. So you know, it was very interesting. Some of the things I've had to say. I kept my mouth shut, and like I said, you can get your friends to get involved. You can tag them on Facebook, but come fight on. It's not a tag team fight. So anything they say, like they're signing checks that only one person can cash. And that's why I say with my friends, you know, a lot of my friends are on there talking, so I can't even sit there and say it's a one-side thing. But I'm gonna go in there and take care of business the way I need to. So I hope he's not letting it affect him because it's just me and him in there at the end of the day and the ref. You know what I mean? So that's the only person who can save either one of us. So.
What's a ref?
Yeah, exactly.
You might probably know the ref too.
Yeah, we'll see. But, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little different this fight. Like I said, it's a little more. It's a little more hype around this fight because of that, and like I said, the background of him fighting guys that I train with, and you know, a lot of people want to see me do well in this fight, so I definitely don't want to let anybody down.
Duran, have you fought CJ?
No,
you haven't fought. You haven't fought CJ. Now you two train together, and you two work together in the gym side by side. I mean, I know y'all both HD, but do y'all train together?
Me and him were each other's primary training partners for the most part, especially for this camp. Like, I know I needed to work a lot on my wrestling and my wrestling defense. I needed to work a lot with my hands and things like that. And with him having as many amateur fights as he's had, and then me fighting so many times, you know, in the last year. I mean, I fought 6 times last year, you know. So that's one of the reasons why I made the jump relatively soon. I've only been fighting for a year and a half, but having Tyson, man, has been a blessing. Like, to be real, you know, he pushes me. Like, there's days where I'm sluggish and like it's hard to get motivated sometimes, especially when you're cutting the weight. And he's on my head and like, hey, we gotta go. Hey, March 22nd, you know, like let's get it in. Like, he sent me a text the other day before practice. He was like, hey, be ready, because I'm coming to practice. I'm like, hey, we not fighting. Why you mad at me? But no, man, like this is my guy, man. He's one of my older brothers, man, and you know, honestly, I don't think I'd have been in the situation that I'm in for this fight or the last fight without having him as a training partner, you know. So, you know, in my opinion, you know, he's the best up-and-coming 145-pounder, and I'm right behind him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see him go out and put hands on old CJ, you know, and go out there and, you know, get a big win. You know, people ask all the time, you know, how does that work with you guys being in the same weight class? I'm like, it's easy. You go, you train together, you work hard together, and you have each other's back. Like, I'm not one person to get jealous because he's out shining. Like, I want him to shine. If he's shining, he's getting better, that means I'm getting better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fighting's an individual sport, but it's also a team effort. You can't go to the gym and work by yourself and think you can go out and beat somebody. So you need guys in the gym who are going to push you and beat you up in practice to, you know, get you to where you want to be. You know, if you're in the gym beating everybody, you need to go to a new gym.
Right.
I'm gone, ski skirt, I'm in traffic, blowing beer, thinking like Socrates. Focus.
3 Kings.
I think people are constantly asking us, would we ever fight? And I would say, you know, that's a local question because at the end of the day, the best fighters in the world are all trained with other guys in their weight class who are the best. I mean, that's just a fact. If you look at what's going on in the 170, now that George St. Pierre's gone, you look at that welterweight division, there's about 4 or 5 guys who train at American top team all in the same weight class. And, you know, that is kind of a problem because eventually they're going to have to cross paths. But, you know, I think that's at the highest level. If me and him ever had to fight, that means one of us had the belt.
Right.
And so I don't think either one of us would be upset about that. And then that means the other one's the #1 fighter in the world, too. So it's like, to even think about that type of stuff is a waste of time. Like, I constantly believe you should be around the best fighters you can be around. You know, you see people ask about, oh, well, you know, Rashad Evans and John Jones. Like, I think we can agree we'd prefer to have those type of problems.
Right.
Like, if it gets to that level where one of us has the belt and the other one's the #1 contender, I think those are the type of problems you want. You know what I mean? Right. So we try not to think about that. You have to have the best fighters around you to be the best. And, you know, if I was the only 145er at my gym or he was the only, you know, we wouldn't get to where we needed to be. So You know, I invite more 45ers around locally to come train with us. That's what I try to do. I try to get all these guys around because that's how we're all going to get to where we need to go. Beating up other guys in Kansas City isn't going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean? Just, I got belts from Kansas City. I want the next level, and the next level is training with the best fighters in the world. You know what I mean? And you see it in camps like Jose Aldo, Hendon Brow, Eduardo Donza. Those are three of probably the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, all in the same two weight classes. There's a reason. It's not a coincidence, you know what I mean? So we embrace that type of competition at the gym.
Yeah. I mean, you go to the gym, sometimes you think people are fighting for a UFC contract.
I've been there.
Real talk, yeah.
Man, y'all rough over there, man.
You think there was a scout in there, bro. I mean, that's how it has to be, man. Like,
it be just me with the camera.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he bloodied my nose yesterday. I have no shame in admitting that. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather get my nose bloodied at practice, be pushed to the point at practice to where I want to break, so it don't happen in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get put in the worst possible situations that you can. So when you go out there and you got to perform in front of people, it's nothing. You know, you don't freak out. You don't tap because you got scared because somebody got you in the rear naked. You find a way to get out of it. Right. You know, you get back to your feet and you throw your hands.
Does that bother you, or either you performing in front of the people? Does that ever stage fright?
I mean,
I get excited.
For me, it's more anxious than anything. Anybody who knows me knows I'm an anxious fighter more than anything. I think there's a difference between being nervous and anxious. And for me, it's wanting to get it over with, just the build up, you know. I can do, like I said, even though I've never had to fight 15 minutes, I can do anything for 15 minutes, I promise you that. And so I have no doubt in my mind that condition is not a problem. And so for me, it's just, it's more of just wanting to get it over with. You know, you put so much time, effort, you know, weight cutting. You know, this is all I do, and then when my time is off, I work at a gym. You know what I mean? And so for me to only have a week turnaround from my last fight, man, it's like I want to get this over with. So the crowd, I really don't even, you know, I'm able to kind of blank that out. One thing I think that's been a big aspect of why I've been able to win fights and do them clean. You know, there's a reason people never see me beat up, never see me mounted in a fight. I'm able to think my way through fights. A lot of fighters are so good in the gym because they're able to take their time to think. It's not that big of a deal. And they get in front of the crowd and then they start, you know what I mean? I try to be thinking the whole time I'm in a fight. Just because I can hit you in a situation doesn't mean I'm going to take it, just because it's not all about just being the guy, but it's about winning the fight. And so, you know what I mean? For me, I think that's the biggest thing is being able to blank it out and just think, like, you know, what am I supposed to be doing? What would I have done in the gym? And not just freak out because, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, this isn't a street fight. You know, you gotta kind of walk that borderline of street fighting technique, because at the end of the day, doing stuff you don't do in the gym or trying to fight it some way, I mean, you're setting yourself up and you're minimizing the opportunity for you to do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Right. You should do the same things you do in the gym, win the same way, compete the same way. A lot of guys kind of get into this, they treat it like a street fight, and it's just not. You know what I mean? You have to kind of think street, and when there's times for it, when the guy gives you his chin, but at the same time, remember, like, there's rules, you only got 15 minutes, you know, don't do something stupid and lose a round just because you wanted to be the tough guy, you know what I mean? It's just not worth it, so. Right. And I think that's another reason why I'm able to finish fights. I take my time, and guys are going to give you mistakes because they're not thinking, you know what I mean? And they do stuff that they probably wouldn't do in the gym because they're so scared. They're going to give you the opportunity to finish them, you know what I mean? That's one thing I always try to tell my boy. He's one of the, you know, his first few fights, if you watch him, he goes out there, and it's exciting, I mean, and it's a good thing, you know what I mean? You want that aggression when you go into a fight, but there's times where it's like, there's times where you can take your time. Like I said, the difference between throwing 2 and 4 punches could be the end, finishing a fight. Right. That third punch you load up for could be the reason you get taken down or the reason the guy gets away. You know what I mean? You sometimes just take your time. The guy's going to give you, if you're better than him and you're winning the fight, he's going to give you a chance to finish him. And so, you know, that's how I just think you have to approach all your fights.
I think I get tunnel vision. You know what I mean? Like, when I get in a fight, once that cage closes, I become a different person, you know. You know, the good thing about it, like being deployed and being in the military, is like you have an internal switch, and not everybody knows how to turn on that internal switch, where you go from fighting to, you know, just fighting and having fun, and when you actually want to hurt somebody, you know. And like for me, like once that cage closes and I hear the bell, I just get in the zone, you know what I mean? And like the only thing that I can hear is LC and Jason in the corner and myself breathing, you know what I mean? Like I don't let the crowd get in my head. I don't worry about what his corner's saying or anything else. You just got to stay calm, listen to your corner, and, you know, like he said, you know, especially early on, you know, fighting, I have a bad habit of just coming out and just throwing bombs, you know, and you gotta learn to pace yourself, especially when the rounds get 2 minutes longer from 3 3-minute rounds to 3 5-minute rounds.
5 minutes, right.
You don't want to go out there and throw everything in the first round and then come the second, third round, you're just trying to survive because you don't have the cardio. So that's one of the big things that he's helped me with out a lot is staying patient, picking my shots, you know, setting things up, you know, not just going in there and making every punch a power punch or making every takedown a big slam, you know, something like that. You know, just being patient, waiting for things to open up, and then just let it happen.
I mean, there's a reason if you ever watch any street fights or you ever been in, they don't go long for a reason. You know,
the little Kimbo Slice videos,
holding your breath, playing.
The little Kimbo videos be about 10 minutes.
I mean, the more you can just sit down, focus. Like I said, the guys can give you opportunity. You know, like he's saying, listen to your corner. But I'll admit, I cheat. I'll listen to the other dude's corner. If I'm in, I'll admit it. Like I've been in fights where have a guy in position. I listen to what his coach saying. There's always going to be just like what I'm doing to you, or there's always a counter. If your coach is telling you to do something, and I know ahead of time that's what you're about to try, you better hope I don't have a counter for it, because you know what I mean. Sometimes, yeah, it's a smart thing to do, but if you're telling me ahead of time that's what you're going to do, guess what? I'm not going to let you do it. You know what I mean? So I think the more you're able to take your time, breathe, and not worry about, you know, you're able to absorb all that. So I'll admit, I cheat. I'll listen to what the guy's corner say. If I got you mounted or something, your corner's telling you to push on my right leg, guess what? You're getting hit with my left hand. You know what I mean? Like, and it's happening in fights. You'd be surprised. Guys will tell you what the dude's about to do.
Yeah.
If he's a good fighter, he'll listen, but you better hope your cornerman, because some cornermen don't know what they're talking about either. You know what I mean? There's a reason some dudes are in the corner for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, this isn't the UFC. Not every guy who's a cornerman was a former world champion. So some guys will tell you some nonsense, and you know you listen to it. You know, Lord willing, you better hope it's something that I don't know how to counter. So I just think, like I said, man, he's gonna be all right. He's a great athlete, powerful, and all he has to do is just keep building on taking his time, pacing. You know, we're training one of the best 35ers in the world in LC Davis. You know, and I truly believe that. That's not just hype. He's one of the best 135ers in the world. You know what I mean?
Shouts to LC Davis, HDMM.
And same with Jason him making him drop to 55. I think that's a guy who can break the top 10 at 155. I honestly believe that. You know what I mean?
Huge at 55.
You know, he cross trains the American top team with some of the best in the world. There's a reason he's been with the UFC for so long and gets fights. And so it's consistency, man. The biggest thing about this fight is it's a battle of attrition sometimes. The guys who stick with it and stay the course. And so, you know, if Duran sticks the course and does what he's supposed to do athletically, I mean, there's a lot of guys you see in the UFC that don't have the same athleticism, same power. And if you stick with what you're doing, man, you can get to where we want to get to. And I believe we both will.
So what's next for you guys after this? Y'all think?
I think we both gonna try to fight again in May.
Yeah.
And then just train. You know, like probably take a month off this summer, 2 months off, and really just tighten everything up. And you know, September, October time frame, go out and try to get another fight. You know, I want to try and fight 4 times this year. I know this will be Tyson's 3rd. I think he's trying to get at least 5 fights in this year. So I think as long as we go out there and we do what we train to do and we stay healthy, man, there's no reason why he can't go 5-0 this year or I can't go 4-0 this year. It's just, you know, it's a mental thing, man. A lot of people don't realize the fight's 90% mental. The other 10% is everything else. Once you mentally break, the fight's over. You know what I mean? If you got a guy who is a wrestler and he takes you down and you get right back up, and he takes you down and you get right back up, you know, that starts to wear on him mentally, because he's like, damn, like I'm a wrestler, I'm supposed to be able to keep this guy down, you know. And same with like power punches. If you go in there and you can eat, you know, I wouldn't suggest eating punches. But some people do it. I mean, some people do. Like if you got a head like a cinder block and you can take a lot of punches, you know, that can be defeating to the guy that you're fighting, because he's like, man, I'm throwing everything I got at him, but he keeps getting up, he keeps coming at me. So you mentally, man, like that's what sets a lot of fighters apart, man, is their mental capacity, man. Because if you're not in tune up here, man, like everything else is gonna shut down.
Yeah, it's like poker face, man. Like some guys like a Nate Diaz. You know, don't think when you see them getting hit by some of the hardest fighters in the world that it doesn't hurt. But it's when you let them see it, you know what I mean? Like when you're in practice, I get hit hard a lot by these guys, and it's when you let them see it is when, you know what I mean? You sometimes gotta know to play it off. Like, that hurt, I'm dizzy, but I'm gonna pretend. I'm gonna pretend like I'm backpedaling because I'm out of technique. But no, I'm tired. You hurt me. And a lot of times guys don't finish fights because they don't realize they hurt you or vice versa. Sometimes guy in his mind doesn't realize he hurt you or you know what I mean. And like he's saying, man, a lot of it has to do with poise. You know what I mean? Just after if you train properly, at the end of the day, the fight is all mental because your body's gonna react to what you've been doing for the past 6 weeks, and so after that, it really is all mental. You know, you gotta take your time, and so like he said, after this, we're hoping to both fight in May. I'm not gonna make an announcement about what the show is. It's supposed to be a pretty big show. I'd like to do some traveling, some cross training here in summer. You know, our coach, teammate Jason and I trains down American Top Team, some of the best 45. The Bellator World Champ at 45 is down there. I would love to go down there and test myself out. You know, take those beatings from some of those guys, and maybe not. You know, just to see where I'm at. You know, when I first started training with LC, it was a beating every day, and now it's to the point where he's still the better fighter. Yeah, it's still the better fighter, but there's a difference. There's times, there's days, there's rounds where I'm winning, and it builds confidence. And so I feel like that's the only way you're really gonna know who you are. If you just stick and train with the same guys all the time, you start to cheat. Yeah. You know what I mean? A lot of me getting better against LC is learning his style. I want to see if the gap I've been closing is really because I'm getting that much better, or is it just because now I'm like used to his style. You know, I want to go fight with some of the other best 45 in the world. Like that's how you know where you really at, is when you're training with some of the best guys in the world at your weight class. So that's what I would like to do this summer, is get some traveling in, and go train with some of the best.
That's what's up. Well, any last words y'all gotta say? How can they? Well, we know how to find you. A the Beast Tyson on Twitter.
You my promoter. You my social promoter. Let me
Man,
know
holler at it, man. I guess I'll tell you, man. Holler at Andrew the Beast Tyson.
My social promoter.
At A the Beast on Facebook, on Twitter. Andrew the Beast Tyson.
Tyson 252 on Instagram.
Tyson 252.
Yeah,
252 Tyson. Yeah, you know Tyson 252. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's me.
Yo, straight up, Deron, anything else you want to say for the people before we get up out of here?
Holler at me on Facebook. You can follow me at The Pharaoh, my fan page, and then at Pharaoh Carlos on Instagram and Twitter. That's about it, man.
Straight up, man. Much love, man. One love to HDMA one more time, man. Y'all make sure y'all come out March 22nd to A-Rat Shrine. Come see these two fighting some guys.
Some guys.
Yeah, some guys. But,
some ground sharks.
Some ground sharks and some... we still ain't really talked about this little psycho. The little psycho and the woodchuck. So, come out and see us, man. You know what it is, man. Three Kings, we in the building.
Berserk, tell them they bout to get this work like I'm working a 9 to 5. Ain't nothing worse than a hater that's trying to kill your vibe. They got their hand on your plate, grabbing the leg and thigh. I'm on the rise and I'll choke a nigga who steal my ride.
Three Kings.